Hello and welcome to another episode of Casual Conversations with Comic Creators. It's episode 42. So this is the My Matter show where each month I speak with a different comic creator about their journey and what goes into the craft of making comics. So it's all about showcasing the human being behind the art as we discover each person's story. And I am the My Matter co-founder Nigel. And tonight, depending on when you are watching this, I'm speaking with Sammy Ward, a comic creator who specializes in fantasy, folklore, mythology inspired works and has been crafting comics that explore character relationships and fantastical worlds since 2018 and was recognized in Broken Frontiers 6 to Watch for 2022. Her current projects include Not Another Haunting of Ichor and Bone, and is also developing an anthology featuring her monthly creature creations, which we'll delve into in just a moment. But Sammy, how are you? How are you doing? And thanks for joining me.
Hi, I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Cool. Tired. Mostly.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like the kind of tired. You know the tired where I've slept. I've
yeah,
slept, but it's like you need to do nothing. And I'm trying to find where the space is where I could just like do nothing for a
yeah. Where you
bit.
can actually like rest. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
That
totally get that.
the elusive rest. Obviously we just had Thought Bubble, which we were
Yeah,
both at.
yeah.
Yeah, how was that for you? Have you managed rest since then?
Uh, Not really, to be fair either.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
And yeah, and I didn't sleep well over the weekend, and I think it was because I just couldn't switch off. My brain wouldn't switch off.
Mm,
And I don't know if you get that sometimes from like conventions, but you get like inspired and you have all these conversations and stuff. And I had a lot of those like running in my head, and it's
yeah.
good and it's bad because it's just quite overwhelming. Um, so yeah, I had a quite a severe lack of sleep by the end of it. Um,
Mm. Did you go to the
um,
mid-con party?
I didn't because
Okay,
I had
okay.
we went for dinner and I went to bed, but
That's
still
sensible.
yeah, was still unable to like really get to sleep. Um, but yeah, um, but yeah, did you go to the mid-com party?
So I went sort of. I dipped in because I was with before Thought Bubble. I'd been to
Hmm.
Malta and there's an artist Tony Moy.
Oh, you've told me about Malta before. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you should. Which and I'm sure I said you should go.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that still applies. But I'm gonna shout out to comic creator Tony Moy who. So I met up. He's from America and he met some Canadians and then we went to dinner. This is very like insider baseball, but we went to there's Weatherspoons near the Midcorn Party, so
Oh,
we ate there,
yes,
and then went there, and then it was like too loud, so then we went
yeah,
somewhere else, and then
bad.
I went to sleep. Yeah,
Yeah, I
uh,
think that's what happened to me and my partner when we went to the mid-com party last year. We went in there, sort of tried to have some conversations with people. It is way too loud.
yeah,
I will say
yeah,
that. And then a group of us just went to Weatherspoons because it was a lot quieter. Um,
yeah. It's
yeah.
yeah. I feel like I was gonna say something about Weatherspoons. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's a
Yeah.
place that you don't want to be, but
Yeah, 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 but it is there.
um,
So
but
and
it was
we were
there, yeah.
hungry. So so that worked out. But yeah, so I think for people who don't know, like Thought Bubble is in the north. Are you based in London?
No, I'm
Or
based in Bucks, so
oh, okay,
not too
close.
far from
Okay,
London.
okay,
Yeah,
cool,
so
cool.
yeah, we did have to trek up.
As a typical Londoner, I just assume everyone's in London. All my reference points are from London.
Yeah,
But okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
We got that. So yeah, so Thought Bubble is in the north, just above
mm,
Leeds on the map, and it is really good because it feels like every indie creator is there
yeah, yeah. It does.
for that weekend. So they've managed to
Yeah,
build up a big maybe like I wouldn't be surprised if it's the largest, certainly in the UK, of like
in the
indie.
UK, I would say I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll fact check that at some point later. So, um, So yeah, so we were both there, although we didn't see each other there, but
No,
we that's how
we
big
did
it
miss
is.
each other,
Yeah,
sadly. But
yeah.
it is so big now.
Mm.
And it's nice. It's lovely to get to see a lot of familiar faces, though. That was what was really nice about this year. There's some people that I only see at Thought Bubble.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It is
and
handy.
so, yeah, so it is quite nice to be able to catch up with other creators in that way. Um, and then, um, and then see people that you don't expect to see either. Like I remember having a couple come over that I'd only ever seen at MCM, and they come to MCM like every year, and then they came over, and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen you at Full Bubble before, and they were like, yeah, this is our first time because everyone's
Okay.
told us to come here, everyone's recommended it, and they were like, they absolutely loved it. They were having the best
Mm.
time, and I was like, oh, that's really good because yeah, MCM is a different vibe, isn't it? It's the
Yeah,
artist alley is very different. Thought
yeah. It
Bubble,
itself is very huge,
you
but
know,
MCM is like just sell as much as you can. In
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's a very different atmosphere
Mm.
for sure. Um, yeah, Thought Bubble feels like you're in this big community, and it's really
Yeah,
nice.
for sure. So, yeah, and Tazzy in the chat says, I know that feeling about that tiredness. And
Yeah,
yeah, so, and yeah, Hello Neos writes as well. So yeah, it was a weekend. I think it's a really good. I did a workshop, and speaking of
mm,
like people you see at Thought Bubble. So there is a family who like always come. I've been to Thought Bubble maybe, like at least 6 times, and the
nice.
past 4 or 5 they've come. They got everything. And this year I thought I had them because we did a new comic. Uh, did a new comic early in the year. Did a Kickstarter for it. Sent the stuff out. So they came over and I was like, got a new comic. Turns out they'd already backed the Kickstarter. so
Oh, of
so
course they had.
so it's
Yeah.
like it's a mum, dad, and a daughter. So the daughter's always the first to
Oh,
come. So
yeah.
she's looking over and then she was like, I'm not sure. We've got this, and then her dad was like, "Yeah, no, it came in the post." I was like, you've already got this." So she was asking
Yeah.
when are we gonna finish the stories because we started a lot of stories and we haven't
Yeah.
yet finished. And I was like, "Yeah, it's coming, it's coming in time." But
Oh.
you get that. I mean, how many times have you done Thought Bubble now?
Uh, oh, I think my first one was 2023. So
Mm,
I think I've done three now.
okay.
Um,
And how have you
yeah,
found
I
like
can't
the
remember.
approach?
But
Like, how do you like table set up, talking to people? Have you yeah? Have
yeah,
you
so
found that?
every year has been different. So my first year, actually no, I tell you what, I have been four times. I must
Okay.
have started it. My first one must have been 2022.
Right.
Um, because I remember the first time I tabled, I had a half table, and the person that was supposed to be sharing the table never showed up. So I had this
Oh.
big empty space next to me for ages. Um, and I think I remember one of the volunteers saying, you know, if they're not here on Sunday, you can spread out. so so the Saturday was kind of like okay, not great. I was also at the end, like the very end, facing out away from everything. I
Oh,
think
that was me
there was
this
a big,
weekend.
yeah, I think there was a big like Mondo stall opposite me, um, that I was just staring at all the time. Um, and yeah, so that was a bit like intimidating. I felt quite lonely because I didn't have a table neighbor the whole
Mm.
time. But then Sunday when I got to spread out to a whole table, it felt a lot better, and I had a lot more people sort of pay a bit more attention to the table.
Yeah.
And so that was my first year. My second year, I think I got to table next to my partner. So that was really good because then it meant
Okay.
we could look after each other's tables.
Yeah.
We could go off and have a wander.
Handy.
Um, yeah, and the third year, last year was kind of the same. Again, I only had a half table, and that was probably sales wise the worst year that I had. but then the best year that I had socially, just like meeting lots of people, getting to hang out with other creators a lot more, and talk to a lot more people was brilliant. This year, there was a huge lack of sleep, and we had dinner and went to bed. So
Yeah.
all the social stuff happened at the con, which was great, and it's always lovely to catch up with creators that you don't see all the time. But yeah, I've lost my train of thought.
No.
Table situation.
Yeah.
So that, you have a bad year and you kind of think, oh God, can I keep doing this? Because
what am I doing with my life? Yeah.
It costs a lot. Because the table fee is one thing, but then
getting there,
when you've got to travel all the way up to Harrogate, trains aren't cheap, accommodation
and Harrogate's not
isn't
cheap.
Harrogate is not cheap.
Like,
it's very upper middle class.
I remember the first time I went there, I saw it had I think it was like a piano shop near, like on my way to the convention. I'm like, only certain types of places have a piano shop. It's the place where you expect people to buy pianos. So
you know what, I haven't gotten to explore Harrogate because I've only really see it in the dark. When we get up there, it's usually dark, and when we leave, and it's usually dark. But we always make a point to eat out every night while we're there because there are so many nice restaurants in Harrogate, and we plan it out. So like, me and my partner and another friend that we always come up with, we're always like planning, right, we're going to book our tables.
Oh wow, that's a level of preparation I did not have.
I think it's we kind of see Thought Bubble as like, no matter how much money we make, we're going to make the most of it anyway. And we're going to have a good time, because I think that's kind of what most of it is all about, for us. But yeah, this year was really good for me though. And I think the big difference was where my table was. Having a full table instead of a half table felt like that made a huge difference. So we were in like the newer hall. It felt like there was loads of space in there for people to like wander around and like see people's tables. It was good. It was a successful weekend.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And like in terms of like your work, so what did you have on show? What kind of projects have you got going? So what did you bring?
I have loads of like prints at the moment, like art prints, because at the moment I create creatures every month. It's called my Ghoul of the Month. So every month I create a ghoul. It's usually like inspired by maybe some folklore creature, usually like some mythological creature, sometimes from horror films that I watch. I've watched so many horror films this year. So that's been a big thing that I've been doing recently. So I've had a lot of prints and a lot of those to sell, and as well as my latest comic that I've worked on is Of Ichor and Bone, which has been a really good collaboration that has written by Asa Wheatley, my partner, coloured by JP Jordan, and lettered by Chris Moore, and edited by Claire Napier. So yeah, it's a full team. Yeah, Asa put it all together. So I just had to work on the art, which was lovely. So I just did my pencils and inks, sent them off. JP coloured them, Chris lettered them. So yeah, it was really cool to be part of just a really lovely team of people as well. So the story is about a knight basically with imposter syndrome. She's unsure of herself, and she's been forced to go on a quest, and basically encounters her own inner demon over and over again. It's kind of inspired by Dark Souls, if you're familiar with that game.
I am familiar. It's too difficult for me though. But
notoriously a hard game. I've never played it. My partner plays those games.
Okay.
And I think they're amazing games, like sort of they have like this weird, mysterious like narrative
Mm.
that in you're a character that's just going off like and just really grinding in this
Yeah.
brutal world.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, and I love that like idea, and so yeah, but like we took that and Asa sort of created this story that felt very like hits home a little bit.
The
So yeah,
imposter syndrome and everything.
yeah,
And that, yeah.
for sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I
Where are
think
you
yeah.
in that kind of that imposter syndrome journey?
Oh yeah, it still goes on all the time, but every time, like you just, I'm always my own worst critic and stuff, and
Mm.
um, yeah, you know, you have to not compare yourself to other creators, basically, and
Yeah, and how do
just
you do that exactly?
I just tell yeah, I
Because
just tell
that's
myself
one of
that
those
I'm
easier said than done.
yeah, I just tell myself that I'm on my own journey, like
Mm.
I'm doing my own thing. These are the things that I love to work on, and that's what I'm going to do. And I think, I guess the longer I've been doing this and the older that I'm getting, um, the less I'm starting to like worry about that sort of persona that I might have like out there,
Mm.
or like or what people might even think of
I
my
think
work.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Because it's because I now have to remember that it's so objective. Not everyone is going to like my stuff, and like I have to accept that. Like a lot of people will look at my stuff and not even understand it. They won't get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can understand. Like like not everyone's going to want to read stories about ghosts and or knights fighting monsters. Um, and that's okay because that's not for everyone.
Mm.
Um,
I heard something earlier. It might, if not today, it was yesterday. It was a completely different context, but it was about sort of like business and as we think about like our stuff and how we kind of position ourselves. It was ideas. I'm going to paraphrase it because I can't remember the exact like quote, but it was about you have to become less relevant to a lot of people, so you can become like even more relevant to a few people, and then those are your
yeah,
people.
I get that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was the
It's
idea that
basically like you need to stop trying to please
please
everyone.
everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially, and I think I remember I was doing a talk at a college. I was on a panel. It was a very big panel. It was like 8 people or something. It was, arguably too many people. But anyway, um, and they were asking like a bit of advice for this like college. So we talking like 17, 18. Actually, there was some secondary school. But I was saying to them, and I was really saying to myself, but the quicker you can get to not caring about others' opinions about you,
Mm.
like the freer you will be, because
Oh, for sure.
that kind of that consideration will hold you
Yeah.
back. Like what does another person think? That will hold you back.
Mm.
And obviously, I'm not saying like just la 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 la. In your ear, like
Yeah, yeah,
obviously
yeah.
criticism, take criticism, be self-aware. But
Of
just in
course,
terms of
yeah.
like attaching like your
Mm.
happiness to like the opinions of others. But again, it's
Yeah.
easier said than done, especially with I feel like with because you're indie like comic creator, and it's difficult. I mean, like the creative journey is difficult, but creating comics, I think, because you see, Marvel, DC, and even at somewhere like Thought Bubble, there are artists and writers that work
Yeah.
for like larger
Massive. Yeah.
operations. So, and you're in the same space, and it's like they, I've been in
Yeah.
spaces. There's a few events ago, but I was in this. My table location was in the line of a queue for another artist. I can't remember who, but they were big artists. So there's a
Yeah.
period of time I just got blocked off by this line of
Oh,
people who had no interest
God.
in what
Yeah.
I was doing. It's like
I
that
hate
kind of
that.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think they've gotten a lot better at that now, where
Mm.
they're more aware if they've got quite a popular creator, they'll try and put them somewhere where a queue isn't going to
To block.
be in the
Yeah.
way of other people's tables.
Yeah. This
But
was
I
at least three
remember
years
that
ago.
being an issue in the past um, for people. But yeah, and it can be quite intimidating. I think I remember the first time I tabled at Thought Bubble, there was some artists like older artists that were just doing commissions, and they were just scribbling them out, and I was like, I'm too scared. I couldn't possibly draw at a comic convention or anything like that. I couldn't possibly do any kind of commissions or anything. Now, 4 years later, I do like little sketches that I put out,
Okay.
and I do that, and I almost can't not draw during the con, because I now get like that sort of anxiety where I like just doodling in my sketchbook helps me like keep busy, you know, when it's not super
Yeah.
busy or anything. So I find that actually helps me now, where before, when I first started sort of tabling at conventions, the idea of like drawing when people could be potentially watching me just was like, oh,
Watching.
no, I couldn't possibly have that.
Okay. So then where does imposter syndrome show up for you now? If not, you know, if you're more comfortable in certain areas, where does that show up?
It has showed up a lot less. I guess I go to a lot less events now as well. But I think where it shows up is, I mean, doing things like this as well, where I'm like, oh God, what the hell am I going to talk to about? What have I done? But I have done a whole entire comic, and
Yeah.
you know, I am still an artist. I still draw things and stuff, but sometimes you look, when you, especially when it gets towards the end of the year and you start to look back at what you've done,
yeah.
and you're just like, what have I done this year?
Yeah.
And you kind of, I'm like, I've not done anything. Like, I was preparing all my stuff to take to Thought Bubble, and I was like, I've got a full table this year. Like, how am I gonna fill this table up? And then you realize, like, I do have a lot of things, and I still have like my very first comic that I worked on, which was like Scavengers, which was like a sort of two, like a little goblin and a wolf, doing like little adventures each page, and it's a
Cool.
silent comic.
Okay. So that you
And
reprint that.
yeah,
You
and
reprint. Cool.
people still come over and like they look at it and they buy it, like, and I have a second one of that as well, and people will buy both a lot of the time. And so it's great that, you know, that's a comic that I barely really knew how to make a comic at that point. It was like me putting things together in a really mismatched way. And I make comics a lot differently now. So yeah, and I kind of like, I always tell myself as well that there's no one way to make comics. Like, there's the very traditional way of making comics.
I mean, Thought Bubble shows that. Like,
yeah,
everyone's
exactly.
doing things so differently.
There's so many different things. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of Deadly Nightshade. She had like a gumball machine of tiny comics.
At Thought Bubble?
Yeah, at Thought Bubble, and
That
they
sounds
were all
interesting.
created by like different creators.
Right.
And that had made their own tiny little comic, and then and I mean, it's like this small.
Right.
And it's just like things like that people come up with and create, and it's just really interesting. Like, people are getting really creative about just how they're formatting their comics now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my first comic was it's A5, but it's landscape.
Right. Okay.
So not even like your standard comic book size. And I think that's part of why it gets some attention, because it does look different. It stands out in that way. So yeah, so I think I just yeah, sometimes the imposter syndrome comes when you're kind of thinking you're in the wrong direction sometimes, or you know, I'm in an awe about my next project and what I want to do for quite a while, and because I've been overthinking it all the time, of like, you know, I want to combine comics with monsters and have like this sort of RPG element to it as well. And I'm like, is that is that too much? Is that are people gonna want that? And I'm like, well, I want that,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna do it.
That's
Um,
where it kind of comes down to, right? And especially like I was saying, like indie creators, because it's not like you've got a
yeah,
publisher. I actually had a conversation with a
exactly.
publisher. Had a quick conversation with a publisher at Thought, and they were like, we're looking for, in their words, like middle grade, which is like 8 to 12 years old, funny middle grade, and like the stuff we've got at least so far doesn't necessarily match that. And then I'm thinking,
Okay.
is that a case where you then go, okay, I'm gonna make something for that because that's what they want,
Yeah,
and what's the balance between what you want to create and what the
yeah,
market is looking for as a
yeah,
creator?
exactly. I mean, you hear, I think that's also the problem is that you hear very different opinions in that case. A lot of people will say you need to make what is trending or what the audience want, or
Mm,
and people say like you need to fit into that. And then other people say, no, just do what you want to create.
yeah.
Because if you do what you want to create, you're going to be happy creating that and you'll make it good. Um, so I feel like that's I've heard different opinions in
Mm,
those terms, and so I think sometimes it's about a bit of a balance. I think be aware of who you're aiming your story towards is always good. But I also think that especially as an indie creator, you should definitely be working on something that you're passionate about.
yeah.
Um, because otherwise, I mean, why are you doing
What's the point? Yeah.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
because
If yeah.
I'm not doing it necessarily to like. I mean, I do want to sell it and get it out into the world, um, but I just want to create stories and tell stories and share those to people is the main thing. And yeah, it's not a huge money maker when you're just an indie creator.
Mm,
So yeah, you definitely have to love what you're doing
yeah.
and enjoy the process. Um,
Yeah.
so that's what I'll keep reminding myself next year when I
Next year.
start it. Yeah.
Cool. So then with your work, because in terms of, what you like to make, you've got a particular, I say a particular style, particular um, look and feel. How did you come to that, like horror inspired, that, yeah, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like ghost,
Um,
because you do the ghost stories as well.
yeah, the ghost stories. I I get my inspiration from like pretty much like anything and everything really, like anything that I consume, whether it's books, comics from other artists, like different art styles, films. Like I'm a huge like film buff, horror films especially.
Mm.
So I get a lot of inspiration from that. I mean, this year I've watched loads of like vampire films, and I went back and watched the Universal horror films, like the Frankenstein and Bride of
Oh wow,
Frankenstein.
okay.
I'd
The
never watched those
classics.
before, and yeah, they're real classics, and I love them, and I really recommend them because they're actually really beautifully made films.
Mm.
To say, they're from the 1930s. They look better than a lot of films that are made today. I will say. So yeah, and that's like even that alone has inspired like the style of my art and where I'm taking it. And um, but I always feel like my style is still like evolving. Um, I'm still practicing and experimenting with how I work.
Mm.
I think one thing is that I definitely work traditionally pretty much all the time now. Um,
So when you say traditionally,
so traditional medium. So instead of like use digital art.
okay.
Um, so I use like ink, uh, ink pens, and sometimes ink and brushes, nib pens, and then I've even branched out to watercolors now, which is very new for me
Mm.
because I usually work in black and white, but yeah, I've started illustrating using watercolors, and so that's fun to play around with as well. Um, so yeah, I think I've been just enjoying experimenting with that and finding my style gradually. Um, and yeah, lots of artists that influence me. Um, Darwin Cook is a big one, and Mike Mignola. Their
Mm.
art styles is definitely something that I've tried to sort of
Yeah.
emanate in ways. Um, Becky Cloonan, a more like recent artist that I absolutely love her work. Um, yeah, and Letty Wilson, uh, they're um, they're like ink work as well. They always use ink brushes, and yeah, very inspiring. And they also like sort of, I think people that kind of delve into like folklore and creatures and monsters are
Mm.
usually where I find myself um, getting influenced and inspired by.
Yeah.
Um,
And have you seen that change at all? Because you were on our like podcast in 2023,
yes,
and then you also, because I mentioned at the top, you were Broken Frontiers ones to watch.
yeah.
Like I'm interested to know, how did that change? How did that change how you work, how you approach your work, and maybe like your style?
Um, I don't know if that particularly changed the way uh, not like necessarily the style of my work. Um, I think being part of the Broken Frontier is so nice because it's almost like its own community
Mm.
um, of like creators that are always sharing things and their own experiences and going through their own like journeys as well. Um, so I think that gives me I think it's given me the experience to sort of see where I can go with certain stuff, like whether I do want to go like try and go through a publisher or whether I just want to try and fund it myself. Um, and like going through like Kickstarters and things like that, seeing people's different experiences with those. Um, yeah, I think it's just nice to be able to see different perspectives and everyone else's journeys. Um, have kind of um, helped me sort of figure out where I want to go and like my own journey, what I want to do, which is mostly just wanting to be able to create my own thing and not
Mm.
be put into a box, essentially. Um, so, I mean, my next project I will most likely try and fund through Kickstarter.
Okay,
I've only done two before by myself. They've both been successful. Um,
that's a
but
track
yeah,
record.
but
That's good.
I haven't done one on my own for a while. So yeah, we'll see. And Kickstarter seems to be again another thing that isn't necessarily consistent with people. Like I see big people that have had really successful Kickstarters in the past,
Yeah,
and then have had a completely different experience another year. Because yeah, I mean we're in weird times. The
we are
economy's
in weird
not
times.
great.
Yeah,
um,
I noticed.
it's more expensive to make things, to get things printed. Like the printing costs are so much higher now as well.
Shipping
Postage is
costs.
yeah, shipping is its whole other thing now
Yeah.
as well. It's gotten really difficult. Um, yeah, and not even just for an indie creator. You know, I see publishers like struggling. So, um, you know, I think everyone is feeling
Mm.
feeling it really, like just the cost of living. You know, our
Yeah.
rent goes up every year, so you know
Mm,
we have to deal with that.
yeah. How do you feel like? Because I remember doing I think it was our last Kickstarter, where just like you said, that feeling of where asking people to put money in something and cost of living, all that.
Mm,
But then I also feel like people do want humans, to like create things. Because I was just looking at like people's reactions at Thought Bubble. Like to my right, there was someone who is an artist for the Phoenix, which is a children's focused, how would you describe, publisher?
Yeah, I've heard
Comic
of
publisher
that.
in the UK. And he didn't have much to sell. Like he literally didn't necessarily bring much, but he set up a drawing tablet, and he had a drawing tablet, and it was connected to another tablet that was facing outwards. So every so often he'd get like kids
Oh wow,
and families. Yeah, so he'd be doing his work because he was on a
you
deadline.
could
So he was actually
see
doing
what
what
it's doing.
yeah, so you could see what he was
Ah,
doing, and just seeing like
yeah,
people's response. Just, oh, you can draw,
yeah,
and that's cool, and tell us about your process. I still feel like when it comes to like Kickstarter or just like selling your work, that people do want, you're not forcing anyone. Well, actually, I don't know what your sales practice is, but I assume you're not forcing
oh
anyone to to buy stuff. But so
no,
so it's like people do want, I want someone made this, and this is someone's expression. So I feel there's
yeah,
still a
yeah.
value in that, actually, that people do
Oh
want.
yeah, definitely. Sometimes it feels like that happens less and less, but when you go to something like
Yes.
football, did I
Football.
just say football? Um, when God, the tide's
Well, there's an
coming in
expression,
now.
there, people expressing themselves.
Um, but when you go to something like Thought Bubble, where people go there because they know that it's mostly a lot of indie creators and they're
Yeah.
making their own thing, as well as like the big names. But and so like yeah, so there is a lot of appreciation for something that has been crafted by that individual.
Mm.
Like it always like it's always lovely when someone comes over and they're like, "You made this? Like, this is all your stuff?"
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're just
I
like,
get that as well.
"Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, like yeah, I made it," and they're like, they're blown away because
yeah.
they
Is that
can't.
weird? Is that is should
Yeah,
do you find that weird? Or should people
it
expect that
it
you did make it? Or
yeah, no, it is weird. It is it's kind of it is weird because you're like, can you not believe that I
yeah,
made this? But
that's
um,
that's what I
but then
think
also
sometimes.
like, but I, I am flattered by it at the same time because I guess they think it looks good, so they're
Mm.
surprised. Um, yeah, and then yeah, so it's always nice to be appreciated and have your work appreciated in that way,
Yeah.
and going to tables because I don't make any sales online. I have a shop online, but
Mm.
nothing sells online. Um, I make my sales going to events most of the
Events. Yeah.
time, and doing some freelance work, but that's not very often. So
Uh,
yeah, um, yeah, so yeah, it's always good.
those
Um,
events are important, like in your
yeah,
like
they
calendar.
are, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Uh,
And just having those conversations with people, and people do ask you about like your process. Now that I've started sort of doing sketches and stuff, people will ask me what pens I'm using. Um, I have other creators sometimes asking me like what paper I'm using and things
oh
like
wow.
that. Yeah,
what
going into
what
those
grade of paper
real,
I need? I
yeah, like
need.
real like technical
Okay.
conversations, chatting shop, I guess.
Fair.
Um, yeah, people talk about what printers we use,
Mm.
like what companies we go to get our stuff printed and things like that. Um, so yeah, so it's nice to have those conversations and have people that are interested. And I guess a lot of those people are people that are also wanting to become artists and wanting to
Yeah.
make their own
Yeah.
comics as well.
Which is
So
also
that's
nice to
always
see that
really nice to
people
see.
still want to do do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people still have that passion that they do want to still make comics, and um, so yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's always nice. It's always refreshing. It's always like you always come back inspired
Mm.
um, from football. You
From
kind of
football.
because you oh God, I can't even say it anymore, can I? Yeah, it's always just nice to see what everyone else is doing and be like, oh yeah, I need to get back and start making stuff now.
Mm.
Um, yeah, once I've
Yeah.
had some good sleep, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So you get some rest and then back
yeah,
to it. And you mentioned like you know, people asking you about the process and everything, and students, because you work with like young people in workshop situations.
I
What's
have
that
like
like?
this new part-time as a sort of like art assistant, and I mean, yeah, it's good. I'm actually learning as I go as well,
Okay.
because all these kids are doing something different. Like someone might be working on clay, and someone might be doing watercolors.
Oh wow, in the
Um,
same session.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So in the same class, so people are working. So it's kind of like where they're working on their own individual sort of art journey,
Right.
and yeah. So it's a lot to sort of keep track of, but it is really fun. So it's nice to have an outlet where I can do different things as well. I love doing like things like lino printing, and I do love making things out of clay. And so it's doing those different artistic things that's not just like making comics, because making comics is hard. And
Yeah.
like, and as much as I love doing it, sometimes you can draw a page and you're like, oh, that was great. I love doing that. Sometimes you can spend what feels like a decade on a page, and you're just like so frustrated because it's not coming out how you want it to.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's nice to have that
Something
outlet
different.
of
Distraction.
yeah, you're still being creative, you're still
Yeah.
being artistic, and um yeah, but there's no stakes in it or anything like that.
Okay.
So
And
it's nice.
are you good with working with kids? You find that
Yeah, I
like
think
it's a challenge. It
I
can be a challenge.
they are a challenge, but I've grown up with young kids in my life and like family life and stuff, and I feel like I've got a sort of uh yeah, natural, like, kind of, what's the word? I want to say
Rapport.
rapport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, with kids, and how I like interact with them. Um, yeah, it comes quite naturally to me,
Cool.
I
Okay.
suppose.
Some people don't like it.
Um,
Some people don't like
yeah,
working.
well, yeah, I've spent years being like, I never want to work with kids.
Yeah.
But actually, it's something that I'm not bad at. So,
Cool. Yeah, yeah. I had a
yeah.
similar thing actually when because I went to a terrible school, secondary school, and I was like, why would you do this? Like, why would you be a teacher? And I'm not a
Yeah,
teacher,
yeah.
but I do a lot of, for
Mm.
some, I'm like as close to being a teacher without being a teacher as you can get,
Yeah,
especially for
yeah,
someone who said, why would you ever
yeah.
do this? So it's funny how life works like that.
Yeah. I think it's like I've spent most of my life being like, I don't want to be a teacher. And like
Mm.
you, I'm not a teacher, but I'm just helping some kids out in with their art in class, which is great, and I do love it. And it's nice to see everyone's on their, like, having their own sort of journey and process, and either loving what they do or hating what they do, because I also get it. It's like we don't always love every process of what we do.
No, no.
So yeah, um,
Hmm. Okay.
so
And
yeah,
I guess it does give the distraction aspect like you mentioned, because I was going to say like when it comes to creative work, I don't know if like creative block, writer's block, artist block gets you sometime, but I imagine if you're doing like different things
yeah,
that helps that.
yeah. It does definitely. Like if you're doing different things, that definitely does help. Like I think it just gives you like a mental break.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I've definitely suffered art block in the past. Um, I I'm not that person that can draw, like, constantly be like drawing all the time.
All right.
How
Wait,
like you
isn't that what you do as an artist?
Yeah,
Because
I know,
what you have to
but
do.
like sometimes, yeah, like sometimes I'm just like, oh God, I need a break from this because I
Oh,
find
fair.
it quite taxing.
Yeah, yeah. It is.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a lot of energy that
um,
goes into it.
yeah. So yeah, you know what? I don't know if other artists have talked about this before, like
Mm.
where it's just like, yeah, it is like quite taxing and stuff, and you do need to have a break where I'm not just drawing like
Mm.
constantly. I think it's important to like just do other things, like, and have different hobbies, because drawing technically is kind of like having it usually starts off as a hobby. It's something that you enjoy doing, and then when you're trying to do it as a career, a lot of that kind of goes away, because you're putting a lot more pressure on it, and so sometimes, like, it can be easy to lose the love of something if you're trying to earn a living out of it.
That's fair, because it goes from like
So,
you doing it when you want to, and doing it
yeah,
even if you don't want to, because
yeah,
yeah,
exactly, yeah.
yeah,
So I think doing different things definitely helps, because yeah, it just like can give you a little mental break from it. Um, yeah, going out for a walk makes a huge difference, and just getting outside
yeah.
because you are cooped up at my desk and hunched over, and you've got to you got to move around and remind yourself.
Like you
Um,
are human. I think it's a good point you
yeah,
bring up, just because I feel, I don't know, maybe it's a capitalist thing, but I also say this somewhat hypocritically because I'm not great at resting, but the idea that if you do a thing, just you could just continue doing it like non-stop without
yeah,
breaks. I see it a lot, like, you know, in creative circles, even, I mean, you mentioned sports, even sports, just this idea that like sports people are machines and they'll just like keep
yeah,
doing the thing, and then people are surprised when people get injuries and things like that. With
yeah,
artists, it's just like, just you make art, it's just keep doing that until we
yeah.
squeeze everything out of you,
Yeah,
and
or
then
until
forgetting
you've
that is
got a
actually,
wrist injury or something, or like
yeah,
a tennis elbow or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like just remembering, like you made a good point, just remembering that just you could do different things, and
mm,
but I feel like collectively we're maybe forgetting that. I feel like
yeah.
this sort of super ultra productive thing that our society demands of us,
Oh,
almost is
big
like,
time.
yeah, yeah. Do you feel
Yeah.
that sometimes?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, and it's you're always kind of beating yourself up about when to rest, how
Oh
much
yeah,
rest,
all the time.
and
Yeah,
when you should be working, um, and I think especially as a creative person in any kind of, like, whether you're a writer or artist, you're when you get into the flow and you're working on something, it's really hard to stop, to be honest, because
because you've got it. It's there, and
yeah,
it's
it's
like, yeah,
there, and there's always, and so, like, yeah, when I am working on something, it's really hard to stop, because I'm like, I just this bit, just finish this bit, and then no, then you're moving on to the next bit, and you just completely forget you just completely forget to even take a moment to just like stand and stretch, and
mm,
like, because you're just um uh yeah, because it's just hard to like break out of that, and then you end up just being utterly knackered afterwards. um because you've not had those small breaks in between, so they're
yeah.
also important as the big ones. um
No, for sure. Have you
yeah,
heard the there's like a, what is it, story, parable? I don't know what the phrase is, but about the two woodcutters. Have you heard this?
I don't think so.
It's it's essentially, it's basically this two woodcutters. I'm gonna butcher. I think I'll get the essence, but I might butcher the telling. But there's two woodcutters. They're cutting down trees. They have like a, I think, a competition to see who can cut down the most trees. They've got their
Oh,
they've each got an
yeah.
axe. So there's one woodcutter. He's just like, I'm gonna go chop down as many trees. He's just going and going and going non-stop, non-stop. And he hears the other guy, and he hears the sounds of the other guy. And every so often there'd be a break, there'd be a pause in the sounds. He's like, oh, I got him, I got him. I'm just gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. And again, every so often he'd hear a pause in the sound of chopping. So by the end of the time, they compare, and the other guy has chopped down like way more trees, and this guy's like baffled, like, how you been able to get more than me, because I heard you stopped, like every so often you stopped.
Yeah.
So the other person explains to them, like, every so often I would stop to sharpen my axe, and that let me
Ah,
cut down
yeah.
more. more
more
trees. Whereas
trees.
this guy just kept going, obviously. With,
Yeah,
yeah.
with a blunt
So
axe.
yeah, so I kind of keep that in mind again, sort of
Yeah,
hypocritically, because I'm
gotta
definitely
keep
not there.
gotta
But
keep the brain sharp.
yeah, yeah. So I think even things like
Yeah,
taking a walk and just like disconnect,
yeah,
trying to do that more as
yeah.
well.
Mm. Yeah, because I think, I mean, the thing that I really struggle with that I'm sure a lot of other people do as well is social media, the whole social media
Oh, yeah,
aspect
yeah.
of it all. Like you trying to put yourself out there, you want people to see your work and see what you're doing, and yeah, I struggle to try and keep up with that. I always feel like, it's that pressure to be like, I should be posting every day. But it's like, how am I doing that as well as trying to
And doing
create
the
stuff
thing,
every
yeah.
day? Yeah. Because I find that really difficult. I can spend ages just trying to edit an image or edit a video or something. And I'm like, this has taken me way too long to
Too
finish
long,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that
So,
so much, but it is necessary. Like there was a discussion
yeah.
of that at Thought Bubble. We were talking with a few people and just saying like how most of the people like just like you're saying don't like doing it, but then we kind of all agreed that it is very necessary in terms of how people
Yeah.
find you and follow
Yeah.
your work and your journey. So it's like trying to find the
Yeah.
best way to do it. I definitely am not
Yeah.
good at it because it's not a natural thing to me. And even I've been to 2 conventions over the past couple of weeks. Pretty sure I didn't post anything. I mean, I think I did some. I scheduled some stuff beforehand,
Yeah.
but in the moment, I just had two different
Yeah. Yeah.
parts of the
I think
brain for me.
Yeah, I think I was lucky because I got to a table next to like my friend and my partner just the next table over. My friend's sister had joined us as well, and she was doing all the like photos and
There you
that
go.
we could
That's what you
like
need.
post and stuff. So it was
Yeah.
like we just need an assistant. Just need
Yeah.
an assistant
I'm
that
trying to
can do
delegate
all of
that.
that.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, because it is important. I
Yeah,
mean, I know there's an element of like
yeah,
feeding the algorithm, which I don't necessarily like, but I recognize some level of that.
yeah,
But I think for
yeah,
me, the value is, like we were saying before, like people come to your table and ask you questions. Like people
yeah,
are interested in the process, whether they want to do it themselves or just like curious. And I think that's
yeah,
good to share that and have people come on the journey with you.
yeah.
It's just work. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I think, I mean, that sometimes I do actually enjoy putting like videos together. I can have a bit of fun with it because I'm like, oh, I'm editing little bits, trying to make it look like, aesthetically good, and
Yeah.
I'm choosing music. I'm like, what's the right music?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I'm also spending way too much time on it.
And that's the thing, because
But
to with the
you want it
algorithm, you
to
have to
be
do it
good.
over and over again. It's like that
Yeah,
part.
exactly, yeah. But yeah, it's that kind of perfectionist in me that's like, well, I want these. If I'm gonna make a video, I want it to be good, and yeah, um,
Okay.
yeah.
So we are almost out of time. Almost out of time.
Okay.
But before we get to this sort of bonus round, I wanted to ask, because we are very much near the end of another calendar year. You talked about some
Yeah.
of the work that you've got. What are you looking to do like next year?
Okay,
What's
so I
your
mentioned,
project wise, or just
yeah,
what level you want to get to, or
yeah. So I mentioned I do my goal of the month. So I create a creature that's either inspired by folklore um, or even like horror films. And I've sort of gained a collection of all these creatures, and I've always had sort of created their own little story in my head. I always give them a little bit of like flavor text, and so I'm wanting to build an anthology of those creatures, um, and then also give them like sort of monster stats that people could potentially use them in tabletop RPG games, like role playing games,
cool.
like D&D and things like that. Because yeah, I'm sort of combining those sort of things that I really love and enjoy that I think they would really fit in. Um, so yeah, so that's where I'm gonna be putting a lot of my attention in next year. So
Sounds good.
it's yeah, an anthology of creatures, monsters, essentially. But yeah,
Nice.
and getting started on that next year.
Okay. And Kickstarter, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, and possibly one on the Kickstarter. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, let us know because obviously, we've always
Oh, I
got
will
space for
do.
people
Yeah,
to chat.
I will do. I intend to actually plan it out properly and actually give myself plenty of time to
Mm,
prepare for it. So, yeah, I will do for sure.
cool. All right. So when I do these live streams, I like to end on this, I say quick-ish fire round, but the idea is because I feel like storytelling kind of maps to our own life because we're all the lead character in our story.
Yeah.
So to end this live stream, Sammy, so as the lead character of your story, what would you say are your standout attributes and characteristics?
Oh gosh. Constantly getting distracted
Okay.
by creatures and
Shiny
birds.
objects. Okay, cool.
Yeah, sometimes shiny objects, but a
Okay.
lot of the time, like if I'm out in the wild, I see a bird, I have to point it out.
Okay.
If
Fair
I
enough.
see a cat, I see a dog, that's that's where my attention is going.
Yeah.
What other attributes about myself? Snacks, lots of
A lot
snacking.
of snacking. Okay.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
is a
lots of crisps and chocolate.
superpower
Yeah.
snacking. Okay. Got to keep the energy.
Yeah. Um, Gosh, yeah, what else?
Okay. I mean, those work.
Yeah, I think that works. Yeah.
Okay. Lots of distraction, lots of snacks.
Lots
Cool.
of
Got it.
distractions and
Yeah.
snacks. Yeah, my
um,
main attributes.
and then in many stories we have like an antagonist or just like forces of antagonism. So what
Mm.
would you say are what's your main challenge and how do you work to overcome it?
Oh, probably myself, like that
Okay.
self-motivation.
Okay. You are your
Yeah,
own worst
so
enemy.
yeah. So it's like that inner demon
Mm.
that you're constantly fighting, really,
Okay. Yeah. You
for
seen
sure.
K-pop Demon Hunters? There's a lot of that inner demon stuff going on.
I've only like watched like a little bit of the beginning when I was at a friend's house because she has a kid who's
Oh, you need to
obsessed with
finish
it.
that. Yeah, you need to
And
finish
I
that.
do need to watch it because it's all the kids talk about
You
and they're
do.
always singing the songs and I can't join in. So yeah, you're right. I
Okay.
do need to watch the film
That's
for
homework.
sure.
I don't think I've ever given homework and on one of these, but
Yeah.
that is homework. Go watch that.
Okay. I
Finish
will. I
that.
will.
Cool. I forgot what we were talking about now. Oh yeah. Your own worst enemy. Cool. Got it. And then we've got supporting characters. Usually got a cast of supporting characters. Who are the biggest supporting characters on your journey?
I mean, my partner for sure, because
Yeah.
you gotta have someone that's gonna motivate you and actually tell you that what you're doing is worth it.
Yeah. Your friend's
Definitely, and
sister for social media support. That's
yeah.
handy.
Yeah, oh yeah, having friends and family that can help you out there is always a bonus for sure. Yeah, I'd be getting everyone
Nice.
involved.
God, yeah. Big
Be a
cast.
big ensemble of characters.
Nice. Okay. And then last question is then where does your journey end? Although that always sounds morbid when I say that. I might have to. But what does success look like for you in your story?
I mean, I think success is just people coming back and returning to you, like people still kind of needing you, I suppose, is what you want. You want people
Mm,
that's gonna want to come back
back.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and always be around. Does that make sense?
I get that.
Yeah,
I like that. That
I think that's what success is.
yeah, because it kind of means you've created something that like people value and people get value from and they want.
Yeah, and when they want more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah,
Okay.
we'll go with that.
All right. Nice story. There we go. And that is the end of our conversation. So yeah, thank you for
Great,
joining
thank you.
me.
Thanks for
Obviously,
having me again as well
yeah, you've been on the podcast
on the
before.
podcast.
So we've
Yeah,
got this live stream as well. You completed the double podcast live
yeah, this has
stream.
been fun.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate you joining, and I appreciate people watching. If you're watching live, hello Paladin as well. If you're watching live or later, we might put some audio on the audio of this on our podcast stream in the future. Who knows what can happen? So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Also want to say a shout out to Pro Gamers Group UK, who have supported us by providing equipment. The very equipment I'm speaking on with our Streamplify mic, our lighting, as well, the chair I'm sitting on from Nigel Concepts, and some other stuff as well. They've got a new brand, Gamiac, which is a bunch of like peripherals, like keyboards and mice that we used at Comic Con recently. We use in our workshops as well. Speaking of working with kids, had a whole bunch of kids doing podcast workshops over the summer. That was cool.
Nice.
So
That
yeah,
sounds
so it all helps us kind of like just make better experiences, helps me learn like how to do this whole content creation thing. So yeah, very appreciative to work with them as we continue doing our content, pushing for diversity and inclusion, and introducing new people to the world of content creation. So yeah, thanks to them. Don't forget, you can join our Discord. We have another live stream coming up on Thursday where we'll be talking about some other stuff, some new changes. We've got some plans going into 2026, so stay tuned for that. That's Thursday afternoon. Catch us there. Follow us on Twitch, on YouTube as well. We'll stream on both, and I mentioned the podcast. We do have the Story X Story podcast where Tazzy and I do creator interviews. We do video game discussions, deep dives into stories across pop culture. We just had a chat about The Last of Us season 2, and then we're gonna have a conversation about Elio, so Pixar's latest. What's that? We're recording that next week, so check that out as well. But that is the end of this episode of Casual Conversations with Comic Creators. We will see you all again next month. So take care, everyone.
Bye.